All right, buckle up, everyone, because today's deep dive is taking us into the wild world of the internet's impact, but with a twist. We're going way beyond, the usual stuff like browsing and social media.
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting.
Exactly. We're uncovering some seriously unexpected perks and perils that you might not have even considered. And guess what? Our source material is an English learning video on YouTube.
You never know where those golden nuggets of wisdom are going to pop up.
Right. It just goes to show that learning can happen anywhere, anytime. So in this video, the hosts kick things off with this infectious enthusiasm about the internet's potential. Like, their energy is seriously contagious.
I think what struck me was how they went beyond the typical Google it narrative.
Totally. They really dove into some truly remarkable benefits that often get overlooked.
One of the biggest ones they highlighted was the remote work revolution.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a complete game changer for so many people and industries. I mean, think about the flexibility and work-life balance that was practically unheard of for a lot of folks before.
And studies actually show that remote work has skyrocketed in recent years. It's a trend that's likely to continue as technology keeps advancing.
Makes sense, right? The internet has basically made it possible to work from anywhere, collaborate with teams across the globe.
You can even build a thriving business without being tied to a physical office.
Talk about a level playing field, especially for smaller companies and entrepreneurs.
And the video also touched on the incredible potential for real-time collaboration.
It's mind-blowing when you really think about it.
Imagine scientists working together on groundbreaking research, architects designing sustainable cities across continents,
Musicians composing symphonies together from different corners of the world.
all thanks to the internet's ability to connect minds and bridge those geographical gaps.
It really does feel like the internet has shrunk the world, making it possible to connect with people and ideas in ways we never could have imagined before.
And on that note, something that stood out to me was the video's emphasis on accessibility.
Especially when it comes to learning.
Absolutely. They talked about how the internet has made knowledge available to anyone with an internet connection.
Democratized knowledge, it's incredible. Online courses, tutorials, virtual libraries, it's all right there at your fingertips.
It's a remarkable opportunity for lifelong learning and personal growth.
I've totally taken advantage of that. I mean, from language courses to coding boot camps, the amount you can learn from home at your own pace is amazing. What about you? What are some ways the internet has unexpectedly opened doors for you?
For me, it's been about connecting with like-minded people, discovering new passions I might not have otherwise explored. It's really empowering.
Absolutely. But of course, there are two sides to every coin.
Right, and our YouTube hosts didn't shy away from addressing the potential downsides of the internet.
They got real about the darker aspects, which is so important.
One of the biggest concerns they raised, and rightfully so, is data security.
I mean, with so much personal information flowing through the internet, it's a prime target, right?
Exactly. Data breaches are becoming more and more common, and the consequences can be devastating. Identity theft, financial loss.
Reputational damage. It's scary to think about.
And it's not just about hackers stealing our information. They also talked about how companies collect our data, often without us even realizing it.
It's like leaving digital footprints everywhere we go online.
And those footprints are being tracked, analyzed, and used in all sorts of ways. It raises some big questions about online privacy.
Definitely unsettling. To what extent do we actually have control over our own data? It's like we're constantly being watched and analyzed, even when we think we're browsing privately.
And then there are the social and psychological impacts of the internet.
Things we often overlook.
Cyberbullying, for example. The anonymity of the internet can make it so much worse.
It can reach a wider audience and leave those lasting scars. Victims might feel trapped, unable to escape the harassment.
They also touched on the issue of internet addiction. I think that's something many of us can relate to, at least to some extent.
It's so easy to get sucked into the endless scroll, the constant notifications, the rush of likes and shares.
The internet is designed to keep us engaged, and it's becoming harder and harder to disconnect.
And then, of course, there's the whole fake news dilemma. It's a minefield of misinformation out there.
It's a critical issue. How do we know what to believe when we're bombarded with conflicting information?
Our YouTube hosts emphasize the importance of critical thinking. We can't just blindly accept everything we see online.
We need to question sources, evaluate the evidence, and look at different perspectives.
It's about developing those digital literacy skills to become more savvy consumers of information.
It's also about being aware of our own biases and how they might influence how we interpret information.
It's a great point, right? Everyone has an agenda, whether they're aware of it or not. We have to be able to recognize those agendas and critically evaluate the information we encounter.
It's amazing how even a simple English learning video can spark such profound discussions.
It really highlights how intertwined language and technology are in today's world.
And speaking of language, did you catch that little grammar debate they had?
Oh, yeah. The classic fluency versus perfection debate.
One host argued that fluency, the ability to communicate effectively, is more important than perfect grammar.
Which makes sense in casual conversations.
Exactly. But then the other host brought up the idea that people might judge you based on your grammar, especially in professional settings.
Right. Like, proper grammar can make you seem more professional, credible.
It's true that grammatical errors can sometimes create a negative impression.
It's a tricky balance, isn't it? We want to encourage clear communication, but we also recognize that grammar matters in certain contexts.
It definitely raises questions about language bias and how we judge people based on their language skills.
Have you ever felt judged for your grammar?
I think it's a pretty common experience, especially for those who aren't native English speakers.
It's a good reminder to be patient with ourselves and others when it comes to language. Judging someone's intelligence based on their grammar just isn't fair.
Absolutely. We should focus on celebrating the diversity of language and the effort people make to communicate.
Well said. It's a great reminder to be mindful of the language we use and how it can impact others. But for now, we'll have to pause our deep dive here and pick up the conversation in part 2.
You know, it's fascinating how this English learning video, kind of unintentionally, sheds light on some cultural nuances tied to language and the internet.
It's true. Like, just by using certain words, they're giving us a glimpse into how people from different backgrounds experience the online world.
For example, they mentioned convenience as a major perk of the internet.
Such a simple word, right?
Yeah.
But it says a lot about how our expectations have changed.
Exactly. Thanks to the internet, we've become so used to things being readily available, easily accessible.
We can order food, book travel, access information. A few clicks, that's all it takes.
We rarely have to wait for anything anymore. It's remarkable how much the internet has streamlined our lives.
But you're saying that this expectation of instant gratification isn't necessarily universal?
Right. Cultural norms and values play a big role in how different societies view and use technology. What one culture might consider incredibly convenient, another might not even see as a priority.
So what seems like a basic need to us, like having things quickly and easily, might not be as important in other cultures.
Exactly. In some cultures, for instance, face-to-face interactions are still highly valued, even for tasks that could easily be done online.
I could see that. It's like in some cultures, there's a strong emphasis on building personal relationships. You can't always replicate that in the digital world.
It's a subtle but important distinction, and it just goes to show how something as seemingly neutral as the internet can be perceived so differently depending on cultural context.
It's interesting they use the word expand, too, when talking about the internet's impact on business. I wonder if that reflects a more Western focus on growth.
It's a good point. Many Western economies are built on the idea of continuous growth.
And the internet has definitely fueled those trends.
Businesses can reach global audiences, expand their operations at an unprecedented rate.
But again, not all cultures share that same laser focus on limitless growth. Some prioritize sustainability, community well-being over constant expansion.
For them, the internet might present a different set of opportunities and challenges.
It makes you think, how do different cultures navigate that tension between global interconnectedness and preserving their unique values and traditions in the digital age?
It's a fascinating question. The internet has this incredible power to both connect us and create new divides.
Which brings us back to the importance of understanding and respecting cultural differences online.
It's easy to assume everyone experiences the internet the same way we do, but that's simply not true.
Absolutely. Developing that cultural sensitivity and digital empathy is more crucial than ever in our increasingly interconnected world.
It's essential for communication, for collaboration, for building bridges across cultures.
The video also emphasized the importance of acknowledging both the benefits and drawbacks of the internet. It seems like they're encouraging a balanced perspective.
Which is exactly what we've been trying to do in this deep dive.
It's so important to recognize the complexity and nuance of any issue, and the internet is definitely no exception.
It's a powerful tool, with potential for both good and harm. We have to approach it with a critical, discerning mind.
We've talked about how the internet has revolutionized work, learning, and connection. But we've also discussed those very real concerns about data security, addiction, and misinformation.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Trying to harness the power of the internet for good while mitigating its potential downsides.
And like we've been discussing, so much of how we perceive and utilize this tool is influenced by our cultural background,
Our personal values.
even our language skills. It's a dynamic interplay between individual experiences and societal forces. You know, it's interesting, the video also uses the word drawbacks, specifically mentioning security and privacy concerns.
And it's worth considering that the significance of those concerns might differ across cultures. Some societies might be more tolerant of data sharing if it's seen as benefiting the community.
Whereas in more individualistic cultures, data sharing might be viewed as a threat to personal autonomy. It's amazing how cultural values can shape our understanding of what's a drawback or a benefit in the digital realm.
It underscores the need for more nuanced conversations about internet governance and regulations.
We need solutions that respect both individual rights and collective well-being.
The internet is not just a technological artifact, it's a social and cultural phenomenon that's changing how we live, work, and interact.
It's a powerful force that's shaping the world around us, and it's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly.
It's this interconnected web of human experiences where cultural values, technological advancements, and individual choices all converge.
Okay, so we've unpacked some pretty insightful observations from this seemingly simple English learning video, but there's one more word they highlight that I think deserves a closer look. Sucked.
Ah, yes. Their discussion of internet addiction and how easy it is to get sucked in to the endless stream of online content. It's a powerful word choice.
It really is, like being pulled into a vortex of endless scrolling.
And it's not just about wasting time, it's about the real consequences of excessive internet use.
Absolutely. The internet is designed to keep us engaged. Likes, comments, new content. It's a cycle that can be hard to break free from.
And the impact on our sleep, our relationships, our productivity, our well-being, it can be significant. We can get so caught up in the digital world that we neglect the real world.
So what can we do about it? How do we navigate this digital landscape without getting sucked in?
They emphasize developing healthy online habits, setting boundaries, prioritizing offline activities, being mindful of our screen time.
It's about moderation and balance, finding a healthy equilibrium between our online and offline lives.
And it's not just about individual responsibility. We need to consider the role of tech companies. Are they designing platforms that promote healthy engagement?
It's a great point. We need to hold these companies accountable for the addictive nature of their products.
It's a complex issue. There are no easy answers. But it's a conversation we need to have if we want to create a healthier digital world.
And it's a conversation that leads us deeper into the ethical considerations surrounding the internet, which we'll explore further in part 3 of our deep dive.
As we dive deeper into the ethical side of the internet, it's important to remember that these aren't just abstract ideas we're talking about.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the technical stuff, the stats, but at the end of the day, real people are affected by these issues.
Exactly. And it brings us to a theme that really resonated with me from the English learning video, this idea of the internet as a force for both good and bad.
Yeah, they didn't shy away from the dark side of online interactions. Cyberbullying, for example. It's just awful to think that something designed to connect people can be used to hurt and isolate them.
It's a classic double-edged sword scenario, right? Technology can amplify both our kindness and our cruelty.
And what makes cyberbullying especially concerning is how relentless it can be. It's not confined to a certain place or time, like traditional bullying might be.
It can follow victims everywhere they go. The internet never sleeps, and unfortunately, neither do bullies.
It's true. And the anonymity that some online platforms provide can make things even worse.
It emboldens those aggressors, makes them feel less accountable for their actions.
As our YouTube host pointed out, the emotional scars of cyberbullying can run deep.
Anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, even suicidal thoughts. The impact can be devastating.
It's a wake-up call. We need to be more intentional about creating a more compassionate and empathetic online culture. It starts with each of us choosing to be kind and respectful in our online interactions.
Absolutely. Even when we disagree with someone, we can still engage in a respectful way. And when we see harmful behavior, we need to call it out.
I couldn't agree more. Silence is complicity. We all have a responsibility to make the internet a safer, more inclusive space for everyone. Speaking of inclusivity, our YouTube posts kind of unintentionally raised another issue too. language bias.
Ah, yes. That conversation about the importance of grammar in English fluency, it kind of exposed those subtle ways that language can be used to judge and exclude people.
One of the hosts worried that people might be seen as less intelligent if they make grammatical errors, especially in professional settings.
Which is a valid concern. We often equate fluency with intelligence, even though language skills are just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to a person's abilities.
It's like judging a book by its cover, or in this case, a person by their grammar, and it can have real consequences, limiting opportunities, perpetuating inequalities.
Exactly. Someone with incredible ideas might be overlooked just because their English isn't perfect.
And it also disregards the incredible diversity of language. There are so many ways to speak English.
Absolutely. We need to broaden our definition of fluency.
Embrace the richness of language in all its forms.
It's about celebrating those differences, not trying to fit everyone into a single mold, and recognizing that effective communication is about conveying meaning.
Building connections, sharing ideas, regardless of accents or minor grammatical imperfections.
Well said. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the unexpected perks and perils of the internet, it's clear that this English learning video gave us a lot to think about.
It really did. We explored the internet's power to connect us, empower us, even educate us. But we also acknowledged those darker sides.
The potential for addiction,
The spread of misinformation.
the harm that can be inflicted through online interactions.
And we talked about approaching the internet with a critical mind, but also with a compassionate heart.
Remembering the diverse human experiences that shape this ever-evolving digital world.
It's been an insightful journey, and we hope it encourages you to think critically about your own relationship with the internet.
How you use it, how it affects you, and how you can be a force for good in the digital space. Thanks for joining us on this